So what's in my monthly supplement order? Now, I just wanted to be completely transparent on this. I am very fortunate to be in an excellent position and be sponsored by Effective Nutrition, which is the supplement company which I've ordered everything from. They give me a monthly allowance each month, but one of the sort of agreements that we have in place is that I would never push anything that I wouldn't use myself or pay for myself. So there's a lot of products that they have which personally I wouldn't use, such as pre-workouts and stimulants and things like this. A lot of bodybuilders will use them and other athletes, but they're not something that I personally work well with, and they're not something that I recommend for clients either. So they're not something which I'm comfortable promoting. The second agreement that we've got in place is that everything that I do and talk about and use is to be done authentically, and there's nothing that I need to promote or say or do which I don't agree with. So now that's out of the way, first up we've got these litre supplement shakers, great for adding water to. They're actually really cheap, but if you're definitely trying to bulk up or trying to add some mass and you want to get those extra calories in, having those little sort of 500ml or 700ml shakers isn't quite enough. Sometimes getting a litre in there of milk or your shake and double tripling up with your shakes and your powder scoops, these are the one for that. Next up we've got the whey protein powder. Whey protein is something that I think should be or is pretty standard now in most people's orders. Personally I go for the Choco Bueno because I absolutely love Nutella, absolutely love Bueno, and this is amazing with milk. 21 grams of protein per scoop, which will obviously increase when you add milk, but it's made from 100% grass-fed cows and very little sugar in there as well. Next up, we've got Performance Fuel. This is an intra-workout drink, which means you want to be drinking it as you're training. Now, I wouldn't recommend it if you're dropping in for a 15-20 minute session or just going for a walk, but if you've got a 45-minute, 90-minute, 2-hour session or a big day in the hills, you'll want to put a scoop of this in your water. It's full of electrolytes and there's 20 grams of cluster dextrin in it, which is a type of carbohydrate which is really simple but easily digestible. So not only will you perform better, but you'll also recover faster because your body's getting what it needs. Next up, we've got the hydration mix. This isn't the one that I normally get. Normally I have the cheaper one, to be honest, but that one wasn't in stock, so I've gone for this one. But this one's got extra vitamins and extra minerals in there as well. It's this lemon and lime flavour, which the other one which I've got is only lemon flavour, which I do enjoy. So I'm going to have to give you a little bit of feedback on this one to see what it's like. But electrolytes are something most people neglect, and they are a game changer when it comes to performance, really. Years and years ago, people used to talk about salt being the worst thing that you can have with your foods and all that sort of stuff, but we're starting to learn now with sports science that it's not salt in general which is the bad thing, it's table salt in general. So if you can get yourself some Himalayan salt, or you can be looking at electrolytes in general in your diet, such as sodium, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, calcium, these are going to help you improve your hydration, which means you perform better for longer, faster, recover faster, think more clearly. So just having 2 to 3 litres of water a day isn't quite enough, especially if it's a hot day or you're training regularly. Next up, we've got the creatine. So again, this is quite a bit of a staple in most people's diets now. It's the most recognised and most researched sports supplement on the planet. Unless you've got an illness such as kidney disease or something like that, there's no downsides to using creatine. It's not only good for physical performance, it's good for power, it's good for recovery, and it's good for mental clarity as well. There's been a lot of cognitive studies on it recently, so it's a big bang for your buck and it's really cheap for what it is. So if there's something that you can add in your diet, some creatine. Now we've got 2 tablet forms of supplements which I've ordered this month. Now, I don't normally go with too many tablets because for me personally, I just think they're a pain in the arse, just having loads and loads of tablets, and I feel like I'm rattling sometimes. So this is magnesium biglycinate. It's great for fatigue, it's great for your hormones, it's great for sleep, it's great for just balancing your hormones in general, so you've got more energy, better recoverability, and your body's doing what it should. Now with this, I take Xylaria as well, which is another supplement, but I've still got some left over from last month, so I didn't order any this month. And them 2 together are absolutely bang on for getting a good night's sleep and recovering as much as possible. And then over here we've got the ashwagandha. Again, this is a bit of a new one. I've not used this before, so I'm not going to give you sort of anything up on this until I've used it and been able to prove it myself. But apparently ashwagandha, it says here, ashwagandha is best used for during periods of increased stress. Now personally for me, I've been going through quite a lot of stress recently, more financial and work and stuff like that. So I'm really curious to see how this affects sort of my thinking and how I'm feeling, and if there's any change in that domain. What I would also have in here normally is some vitamin D3. They do an amazing 4000 IU of vitamin D3, which is absolutely mega compared to the strength of what you can buy in like Boots and Tesco and stuff like that, which are generally sort of like 200 IU or something ridiculous. But they haven't got any in stock, but I will be buying some myself with my own money when as soon as it comes into stock, because I do believe in it as a massive thing, especially when if you live in the UK and it's like this most, like 90% of the time, just grey and miserable. Even though it's warm, you're just not getting the sunlight and the vitamin D3 that you need. And then lastly, I've got 2 pairs of socks and a t-shirt, because as obviously it's off the deal is that I use their merchandise and wear it regularly so people can obviously get some brand awareness for it. So this brings me back to my original question, which was a little bit clickbaity, so I do apologise, of do you actually need supplements? Now, it's a one of those it depends questions, and that's with complete honesty. The truth is that most modern food nowadays, even if you're thinking your diet is perfect, you're eating loads of fruit and veg, you're eating plenty of varied protein sources, you're eating plenty of micronutrients, and you're hitting your targeted macros. The truth is, most modern food nowadays is undernourished massively. Dogs just farted. So that being said, yes you do, and I've took 2 different approaches on this in my sort of career. I used to be that guy which would be like, no, you don't need supplements, just make sure you're getting everything from your diet. And I've still seen people struggling, so I've still seen people undernourished, I've still seen people underperforming. But once they added some supplements in the diet, just some key ones, the performance went through the roof, the recovery went through the roof, and it was a game changer for them. So yes, there are people out there which can say, no, get it all from your diet, make sure your diet's optimum. But realistically, we don't live optimum lives. We all have responsibilities, we're all running around crazy, we've all got stresses and external issues elsewhere. So even if you can have a perfect diet, it is still going to struggle without sort of these different things. Now, the only one out of everything which I've ordered, which I'd say maybe you don't need, is probably the one which everyone reaches for first, which is the whey protein. Now, the only reason I say that is because if you can get enough protein from whole food sources, different meats, cheese, milks, all different things, and get a complete amino acid profile across your diet, and you're hitting the targets that you need, sort of like sometimes that can be between about 140 and 200 grams, depending on the person and what the goals are, then if you're already hitting it, then you probably don't need this. But if you're someone with a bit of a sweet tooth, or you're struggling to hit your protein, then there's absolutely no reason why having something like this in your diet is going to impact you in any way. It's only going to make things more convenient and easier for you in the long run. So instead of reaching for a chocolate bar, you can get a sweet kick from this. Or if you're finding yourself in a calorie deficit and you're really hungry all the time, then just a couple of scoops of this is going to give you 42 grams of protein, especially if you've got water, or if you have it with milk, it's going to fill you up even longer. Even though the calories are going to be a little bit higher, then you're still going to get a good chunk of protein there, rather than reaching for something like a Mackey's or something like that instead. So I hope that helps. I hope it's come across as authentic as I want it to be. Again, the whole process of doing these sort of vlogs and bringing you along on this journey and working with brands and this sort of thing is I want to take you behind the scenes. I want to show you how authentic things can be. And there's a whole industry at the minute, especially as this like influencer sort of like Instagram sort of things going on, of people doing like telling lies and giving a bit of deception here and there and misleading people and stuff like that. And I want to sort of break that mold and show people that there are still some of us out there that you can trust. And I'm going to always be completely transparent about everything that I do on this channel as well. So if you've got any questions, leave it in the comments below. Reach out to me on Instagram at ctomlinsonpt, and please like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, because it generally does help. And to be honest, it's nice to just see that people have acknowledged that I've actually made this video, which is quite nice, validation, all that sort of good stuff. So if it's helped, let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.